In this video, we're gonna be creating this huge destruction scene all inside of Blender. This was my second large-scale destruction project I made with my new Destruction Tools add-on, and if you wanna check it out, I've got a link in the description, but more on that later. I got my inspiration for this environment from these buildings in my city. I really like the modern vibe of the architecture, and I felt like it would look a little bit more interesting than just having pure glass skyscrapers. So I went out and grabbed some reference images and different textures that I will use later, and then got to work on modeling these buildings. Instead of manually having to model each of the buildings one by one, I decided to try to create a procedural building system with Blender geometry nodes. If you haven't worked with geometry nodes before, it's basically like using normal modifiers, but instead of just stacking them on top of each other, we can create these complex flows of actions that feed into creating the final geometry. As a super simple example, say we want to scatter cubes on this mesh. We take the original mesh, scatter some points on it, instance the cubes, and then join it together and feed that to the output. Now if we change the original mesh, the scattering updates automatically. And this means that if we can break down a building into a ton of these steps and then change the underlying mesh, we should get a completely new building without having to do any modeling whatsoever. It's easy to see how this would be extremely powerful for creating a city, but now the question is, how do we turn this mesh into a full-on building? The truth is, there's no right or wrong here. Give this task to 10 different Blender users and you'll get 10 different results. But my approach looked like this. First, I take the bottom plane, cut some balconies into it, extrude out the walls and floor, and cut some windows into the walls using booleans. This leaves us with this one floor, and then we can stack that on top of itself until it matches the height of the building. Now, if creating a building generator wasn't hard enough, we have one huge issue to keep in mind here. You see, this building can't just look good statically, it needs to be fully destructible. To show you the issue I ran into here, let's take this simple ground plane consisting of a floor and walls as example. Let's fracture this, make it simulate as rigid bodies, and the reason we get this explosion here is because of how collisions work in 3D. If we take a close look at the rigid body settings, under collision we see this convex hull setting. What this means is that Blender doesn't actually see the mesh as the collider. It creates this simplified collider that wraps around the object like this. So any intersection here will register as a collision and everything just explodes outwards. So let's just set the collision to mesh instead and everything works great. Not quite. You see, there's a real performance reason why Blender does this, and trying to simulate thousands of pieces with mesh collision would likely crash Blender instantly, and even if you managed to simulate it, it wouldn't behave as expected. So the question is, how can we avoid these intersection collisions so that we can use the convex hull collider without exploding it? Well, if we take these same walls and create some cuts here at the corners, now these pieces will simulate individually and there will be no weird intersections messing up our simulation. So I had to think quite hard about where to put these cuts in the building generator, but after a couple of tries I had a version that simulated perfectly. Now we have this geonode setup that can turn a simple cube like this into a fully destructible apartment building, and this by itself is pretty cool to play around with to see what results you can get. It even kinda works when we make these angles here, which create some really cool buildings. But sometimes the collision gets a little bit weird when I try that. But now that we have this, all we need to do now is place out these different buildings and we have a fully destructible city. Since I knew I would simulate tens of thousands of pieces here to get the correct sense of scale, I had to use some tricks to get it to run smoothly. The main performance decision here was to separate each building into its own simulation and then export all of the baked destruction as Alembic files and then bring it all together in the final scene. And separating it like this also let me direct the destruction of each building separately to get a little bit more directed result, which is a huge bonus. So I brought the first building into a new blend file and went to work on the destruction simulation. Here I'm gonna use my own geometry nodes based destruction add-on, which allows me to create these noisy fracture edges and also gives a lot of control and speed in creating the constraints. The way it works is that it uses a geometry nodes cutter to fracture the building 2 times, one with straight edges for simulation and one with noisy edges for rendering. Remember the convex hull collision issue from earlier? This is the main issue I wanted to solve with this add-on, because we really need to get those noisy edges for realism, but trying to simulate it would be a nightmare. So instead we simulate these straight pieces and the noisy pieces just follow that motion. So now that we have our simulation pieces and our noisy render pieces, we can hide the the noisy ones and work normally with the sim pieces as rigid bodies. And the next step is to constrain these pieces to each other so we get some structural strength in the building instead of everything just falling apart instantly. The Blender native way to do this is to use the rigid body link by distance method, and this works great for smaller destruction scenes, but when you're working with thousands of rigid bodies, it gets super slow and quite unpredictable. So instead, the Destruction Tools add-on uses a geonodes tree to calculate the position of each constraint, and then runs a script that places the constraints and assigns the rigid bodies. Now that the destruction of this building was done, I repeated the same workflow with the other two buildings and then exported all of the destruction as Alembic files. An Alembic file is basically a baked animation sequence, so instead of having to worry about all the little pieces in the final scene, we just have one object for each building. The thing I learned in this project is that you can export face sets, which brings in the Blender material slots, and once you import the Alembic, you can then assign the right materials and everything will look the exact same. So now that we have the rigid body destruction of these three buildings, it's time to bring in some particles and smoke to really elevate the sense of detail. So for every building I also exported the lower res sim objects as an Alembic and then used the emitter option from the Destruction Tools panel. This lets you select an interior material and then it runs a geonode simulation that only displays the faces that just separated from each other. This makes it so that we can put a particle system on this emitter, enable use modifier stack, and when we run it we will get particles that dynamically spawn in the right places where the building breaks apart. We can also use this emitter object to emit the smoke, and to really make this smoke feel grounded in this scene, we need to get some interaction going between the smoke and the falling building. From my experience, using smoke collision usually makes the simulation extremely slow, so in this one I wanted to try a new technique that I haven't seen a lot before. With our Alembic file here, we can see that Blender automatically adds motion blur to it when we render, and this means that there is a velocity attribute telling Blender this part is moving in this direction at this speed. So what if we can inject that velocity into the smoke sim so that when the building falls, the smoke falls with it? Well, it turns out that we can actually do that using fluid guides. If we take this destruction sim, give it a fluid effector set to guide, and in the smoke domain enable modular cache and guides, we can bake the guiding velocity before baking our smoke and it will flow really nicely with the destruction. So I baked all of the smoke to OpenVDB format and then brought everything into my final combined scene. And this is really where the destruction comes to life with the smoke and particles in place. It really gives that sense of detail that you want from a large-scale destruction scene. If you're interested in creating scenes like this for yourself, check out the Gumroad link in the description for my Destruction Tools add-on. I've also included a 20-minute step-by-step walkthrough to get you started, and just for fun I also put the building generator here so you can experiment with this add-on on your own city destruction scenes. The really powerful thing with this add-on is that it's 80% nodes based, so you can actually go in and look at how the cutter and emitter sim works and build upon it if you get to that point. And geonodes change a bit with every new release, and I have a lot of ideas on how to make this even better. So when you buy this first release, you also get all the future versions of the add-on for free. It will never be priced lower than this, so grab it now before the launch discount ends and start creating some professional quality destruction scenes. To bring this all together, I simulated some smoke for the meteorites, rendered everything in cycles and with some simple compositing and color grading, and the awesome work of Ivan Manikad in creating the sound effects. This was the final result. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this one, take a look at my bridge destruction scene, and I'll see you in the next one.